Artefactors Union, misshapen. This is the art. This is our beautiful render. Here's our sprue, some pretty small fiddly bits, so be careful. I think the order is probably going to be the base, the water/hair, attached to the head, attached to the upper torso, attached to the umbrella, attached to the umbrella. Handle, that's the word. Then the foot attached to the base, the other foot, and we'll do the reeds last. C10 is our insert. I went ahead and put it in a base. Our waterfall haired thing is going to go in this spot. Voila. C8 is our head. Okay, I think I'm going to put the upper torso in the umbrella and add the umbrella handle before attaching it to the rest of the model because that neck is such a small connection point. C2. Add C5, the upper torso. Okay, after a few tries, I think I got C3, the umbrella handle. My best hint for this, I guess, if I can get the camera to focus correctly, is that there's a little ridge right there. And that should be on top and not connected to the model. Go ahead and glue the neck to the head. This is not going to be easy for anyone. Just kind of use the frog as a reference for where down is. The hair is supposed to fall between these 2 points on the umbrella. And really just make sure there's no gaps in the neck connection point and then call it good. If you really don't have, if you're not confident in it at all, I would suggest just go ahead and glue the umbrella to the hair. It's not supposed to be connected that way, but it'll make it a lot more secure. Let's move on to the body. Go ahead and glue C4 and C8 together first. Now attached to the base, make sure you press down right there on top of the connection point and we'll solidify where it's supposed to go. C6 goes there. It's supposed to fit flush with the base. I had to shave mine to get it to fit in there better. And C7, the last bit, also one I had to push in pretty hard to get it to fit. Misshapen is done and assembled. This was a pretty difficult build. Obviously a lot of small thin pieces that could break, and the connection of the upper torso to the head was pretty difficult, but do what you were comfortable with, and with a lot of care and letting things cure before you mess with them should be good. Thanks. Artefactors Union. Today we're working on the misguided alt sculpt of Fuhatsu. It is a versatile model for the 10 Thunders. Here is our artwork, and this is the render. Here's our sprue. I'm going to grab the body, add both legs to it, then do the belt and the end of the coat. Grab both pieces of the head, put them together, put them on top of the body, do the right arm, put the gun together, add the gun to the right arm, then do the left arm, which also attaches to the gun, steam tank, and end with this thing hanging off the gun. A1, our body. A3 is our left leg. A4 is our right leg. At this point, she should be able to almost stand upright on the bottoms of the feet, but it's not quite that balanced. The legs don't wiggle a whole ton, and as long as you don't see any gaps after you put them together, you should be fine. Turn around. This is A13, our next bit. You're looking at it upright, so this is how it'll go on the model. But I wanted to point out that when you clip it, you're going to have this bit of flash right here that you'll need to carve out, otherwise it's not going to fit. This is more what it should look like, and by flash I just mean the bits left over after you clip it off the sprue. You can't really get the nippers in there, so you'll need to use a knife. A13, the belt of bullets. A8, the coat's tail. A7 is our head. Add A12, the rest of her hair. Now give that head a body. Something interesting of note, the neck isn't a very big connection point, however, there is a groove on the torso for this bit of her hair where most of the connection is going to be. Alright, combine A9 and A10 to make the Gatling gun. This step took a long time. There's just a lot to clean up, and you need to make sure it's nice and clean, otherwise the bits aren't going to fit together very well. Okay, the gun is big and bulky enough that I'm actually going to add both arms to the model first and then glue the gun to both arms so it has more support. Just make sure you do it quick so it's still curing and you can fiddle with it. A6, the right arm. Flip. A5, left arm. Right arm connection point. Left arm connection point. Right arm connection point. Left arm connection point. And voila. Other side, top down. Last is A2, the steam tank. It's going to connect there and wrap around and connect right next to the right hand. Like so. Sorry, last bit. A11 goes right here. Like so. Misguided. Done. The hardest part was just cleaning off the bits to make sure they fit correctly. You just need a good sharp knife and you should be good to go. Artefactors Union. We're going to be doing Alt Barbaros today. This is the packaging he comes in. This is a model that you can either buy on the website in like Black Friday or Easter, or you can win as a prize in a tournament. Now, normally he looks like a mostly naked demon boy wielding a Makahito, but this version he's got armor. He's still mostly naked, surprisingly enough. You can kind of see. The armor doesn't cover as much as you would expect, but here's our sprue. We'll go ahead and grab the torso, put the legs on, and then the tabard or whatever that's called. Then we'll do the arms, the sword, the head, and the wings last. Torso. Actually, let's go ahead and glue the legs to each other first before we put them on the torso, because they have this tooth and socket thing, right? Here they look combined. It's got a really wide stance. Just make sure the top is as flat as you can get it. Now add the torso. I wouldn't use the front as a reference to determine if it's set correctly, just because you don't have the tabard on yet, but if you turn it back and you stare at his buns, it'll give you a better idea. Yeah, that's nice and even. Anyways, add the tabard, and as long as you haven't let everything cure yet, you should just be able to squish stuff into place until it's all nice. And let's start his butt again. Okay, we're going to add both arms and then the sword, and just like the legs, just go quickly so stuff doesn't cure, so you can kind of squish it into place. Left arm. Right arm. Here's the big old sword, and yeah, it took me a little bit of fudging to get the wrists to align correctly, and they just won't even focus in camera. That sucks. But yep, there go. That's the pose you're looking for. Lower head. Add your upper head. The head goes on a weird angle, but this is what you're looking for. He's craning that neck pretty hard. Okay, for the wingies, we have right wing, left wing. They're unique connection points, so you can't screw them up. Here's our back. Right wing, and the left wing. Alt Barbaros of the Nephilim and Returned Keyword Outcast. Versatile is done. Probably the hardest part was the wrist, kind of getting them to line up correctly. I've seen this model online a bit, and some of the assemblies look like they made a few mistakes, and I think it's due to not having a render. If you look at the instructions online, it kind of gives you a good idea. And what I've done here, I'm pretty sure is how it's supposed to go, just because it looks exactly like the card art. Anyways, besides the wrists, it's just kind of awkward because of how stuff overlaps, and I think you should take the time to make sure you get the mold lines now as opposed to after it's built, just because there's nooks and crannies and crap. Artefactors Union. We're doing Winona Finnegan today. Winona Finnegan is an alt model. It is a feminized version of Winston Finnegan, and you'll find these usually as like price support, or you can get it in their special sales on Black Friday and Easter. Here's our sprue. We'll just put the body together, pop the head on top, do the arms, add the hands, and end with the parasol. Alright, combine D1, D2 to make the body. Add D7 the head. It's not really a solid connection. There's a lot of wiggling, so honestly, you just gotta fiddle with it until it looks good to you. Alright, the arms look pretty similar, so we're going to do the left arm first. We're going to grab D6, we're going to shove the hand in there, which is D9, before we put it on the body. This is D6, we're looking at the hand hole, and here we are with the hand, D9, in the hand hole. The best way to place this really is to, once you got it in there, to dry fit it to the model. Now it's kind of hard to see, but you can actually spot where the palm is supposed to go, right there on the hip. Yeah, there we go. Now add your arm. Okay, here's D3, the right arm. We're going to glue it to the body, and then quickly also glue D8, the right hand, and the handle of the parasol. I don't think either is going to be a very solid connection, but once both of them are connected to each other and the body, I think you should be good. Here's my best guess on D3. It's still curing, so I have time to fudge with it, but D8 goes here on the wrist, and you see the groove where the parasol handle is supposed to go on the shoulder. Hey, I'm always willing to admit my mistakes, and here I made a mistake. I did not realize this would take this much fiddling, so I ended up actually having to rip her head off, and it gave me a lot easier of a time. So I'll go ahead and probably put an edit in there to make sure to let people know to put the head on later. But this is, I think it's a pretty good angle. It looks pretty good. The bit attached to the handle is her hand, but it's also a glove, so it should have a little bit overlap on the forearm. It shouldn't be flush. And there it is with her head back on, and actually I noticed something very neat. You would have never noticed this looking at the bit, but the hairstyle is perfectly designed to let the handle of the parasol thread right through it. Just smart on the sculptors. Alright, combine D4 and D5 of the parasol. It's hard to see, but you see the circle where the handle will go in, and then the sort of tooth on top. Well, the end of her parasol handles this hook on the end. Kind of looks like a key, maybe. That'll give you a good guide of what part of the parasol is the top. And there we go. Winona Finnegan is done. Hardest parts are the shoulder sockets, not really being good connections, nor the head. Other than that, just best of luck. Artefactors Union. Today we're going to be working on Dr. Alexei Sokolov. He is an alt model. He's supposed to be Joss from the Arcanists and the augmented keyword, but he's from some sort of event several years ago. Anyways, he comes as price support, and sometimes you can buy him on their website during certain sales, and we're going to build him. So this one's old enough it came with both the 3rd edition and the 2nd edition card. Here's the sprue. Not a lot here. Grab the body, add the leg, throw on the fleshy arm, assemble the robot arm, then attach that, and then figure out where the heck this goes. Here's our body. Add the right leg. Add the fleshy arm, which is the left arm. Now the right arm, the robot arm. All these spots have been pretty solid connections. I guess the weakest one being the leg, but it's also pretty easy to line it up with using your logic brain. Now add the head, another solid connection. I, for some reason, thought that this was a part of the right arm, completely forgetting that most people have at least one head. As far as the last bit, I'm pretty sure it has something to do with this hole on his back. Okay, that's a little smokestack, and it goes into his metal arm. Dr. Alexei Sokolov. Done. Pretty easy build. Hardest thing is that if you go fast, none of your stuff is cured, and there's actually not a lot on that model you can reliably hold on to without, like, nudging a piece out of place, so just take your time, and you're good. Artefactors Union. Emeline, Bellerose. Price support model. That's what she's in the individual bag. Normally, you can only get her from attending events, or get her from the sales Weird has online on Easter and Black Friday. But she is a stand-in for Lady Sybelle, Madam Sybelle, my bad, who's the henchman to Seamus, the Red Chapel Killer, Malifaux's version of Jack the Ripper. And this character is actually really cool. She exists in Through the Breach, the RPG, before she did in the tabletop game, and she's actually the one who penned all the bestiaries. And I think one of the first obviously gay characters in Malifaux. Anyways, here's the sprue. Not a ton here. We'll grab the body. We'll focus the damn camera. Grab the body, shove the feet on there, do the other parts of the skirt, put the hat on top, and the arms last. Or maybe the arms in the hat. I don't know. We'll see what I'm feeling like. Here's body. Let's see where the feet goes. Adds the feet. Okay, so figuring out the different parts of the skirt, what you want to look at is this right here, that shape, and that it will connect right in there and right in there. So this is the left side, this is the right side. Left side and the right side to the front. How the hat fits is very obvious. I trust you to do that right. Some thumbnail has on the arms. This bump you can see here on the right arm. It sort of looks like it's supposed to be there, but this connection point is completely flat, so shave that off. Now add the arms. Okay, point or issue I've had is that because the right arm connection point is flat, I keep having to push it up and hold it, and still not set. So you might need to do that just to make sure it's good and looks nice and is in the right spot. Just give it time to cure. Emeline Bellerose, all done. Hardest part was definitely just the right arm and making and just holding in place, waiting for it to set. Other than that, simple build. Artefactors Union. Today we're going to be putting together Miss Tique of the Performer and Wildfire keyword. This is an alternative sculpt for Carlos Vasquez Malefo's Premier Himbo. Now, probably all you need to know about the character. Anyways, this is our render. Start with E1, the body. Add E2, the right leg. There's the view from the back for no particular reason. Add E6, the head. Alright, we're going to grab E5, and then we're going to add E2 to it. This is kind of difficult to do. You can kind of see the lines of where the arm / torch bit is connected to the fire, so you gotta kind of hook it around and then hold it into place until it cures. It really needs to cure, otherwise it's going to fall off. While we let that cure, go ahead and grab E7. Now add E8, the right hand. Should be a good connection. Now go ahead and add that right arm to the body. Next we'll add E4, the fire effect for this baton. The connection point is right there, and it will connect right there. So like that. This one is light enough that I'm confident it'll hold its shape after you glue them together. And this is what it looks like from the other side. Now the left arm. Okay, by now it should have cured solidly, so just jam the arm right on there. Mystique. Done. The difficult parts here is that there's a lot of very thin connection points that you just need to be careful around. But all of them are relatively seamless once you connect the two parts together, so you don't really need to second guess that you've got it on there correctly or not. But this is what she looks like, and pretty mono. Can't wait to see what people paint this up as.